Hello, welcome back to Better Than Before. Today is part 2 of the podcast episode with my husband, Taz. Okay. Okay, so we had some questions from Instagram that we didn't get to finish because there was a lot of good stuff in the other episode. If you haven't listened to that one, I'll link it down below so you can listen to it. But a lot of good little nuggets on how we handled postpartum,
differences that's
a new baby,
things have changed, our story and like how we got together,
how we met, all that good stuff. And now we're going to finish that conversation and get into a little spicy.
Because we got warmed up. We were like, okay, how do we approach this like questions and everything? And now we're ready.
We're ready. He really wants to talk about sex. So we're just going to go right.
All the time.
Okay.
No, wait.
I also do want to mention, what'd you say?
Wait.
I also do want to mention that our baby girl woke up, but she tends to chill for a little bit in her crib. So we're going to see how far we can get until she joins us. Yeah.
She makes an appearance.
Yep.
And also we only have one bar on this battery. So
all right, let's do it. Let's just get to it. Okay. You want to ask questions, I feel like.
I do.
So go ahead. The floor is yours. We're just getting right into this.
We're just going to jump right in.
No small talk.
No small talk. No foreplay.
No foreplay. That's good.
Right, I know.
When you're funny, you're funny. Usually you're not that funny.
I got it. Sometimes I'm just like, no, I think one of the big topics, showed me a video of her in her crib. One of the big topics that I don't think gets talked about enough is just sex after having a baby.
Yeah.
And how the dynamic can affect the marriage. Yeah. Because obviously before you're not having to worry about like healing and like obviously a lot of stuff happened down there and your body's having to recoup from that in addition to like your body has completely changed physically.
Are you saying I look different?
No.
I love playing with him like that.
Wait, what do I say here? No, because I know we've had conversations like your body image is like a big concern. Your body changes after you have a baby. Mm-hmm. Like there's no way around it. And so navigating those waters and still trying to be like intimate and like physical, and how does that play? How does that dynamic work? Mm-hmm. How has that been for you? Because we've talked a little bit about it, but I think it's more so for the people listening than it is for me. You know, how you've navigated that change.
I'm still navigating, I would say.
And it's only 7 months.
Yeah.
So we're still pretty early on.
Yeah.
I would say.
So I had a rough pregnancy in which I couldn't work out. I just felt like Luna was in my vagina the entire time. So anything was hurting or anything that I would do would hurt me. And then obviously I was just nauseous and gross. And so I couldn't work out. And postpartum now, I look back and I'm like, oh, you should have tried harder. You should have tried harder. But that's because I don't remember how bad I felt. I think we like to remember like the good stuff, and we tend to forget like the hard stuff. So,
because I've heard as soon as that baby is born, it's like you kind of forget.
Oh yeah, it's so annoying.
Yeah, like I can do this again. No,
I don't want to.
Do you remember what happened?
All that to say is that I struggle with like the guilt of not working out, like not taking care of myself, quote unquote, when I was pregnant, which I did to the best of my ability, but there are just times where I was just like, give me something that's a carb. Yeah. I didn't really eat horribly. I just didn't really work out.
And you weren't moving as much?
I wasn't moving as much.
So that was a big thing.
Yeah. All that to say is that I struggle with not only the body thing, but also like the guilt of not doing what I think I should have done or what people tell me I should have done. But body image is something that I struggled with prior to giving birth. If you know my story, you know that I've dealt with that for a long time. And it got better, like leaps and bounds better, but there's always going to be that like little,
I don't think it ever goes away completely.
Yeah. So anyway, all that long-winded answer to say that it's like, what's that term? Like it's reared its ugly head again.
Yeah.
You know? And
it's resurfaced.
Yeah. And I'm now weighing, I don't know, 45 pounds more than I was before I gave birth. And so, or not gave birth, before I got pregnant. And so it's something, this body is, I feels like it's not mine. And I'm just like, when are you going to go home, buddy? Because I just feel heavy and lethargic and I just don't feel like myself. And so if I was already struggling with my body before getting pregnant, I mean, imagine now.
Yeah, you just toss that little factor in there of being pregnant and growing a human.
I will say, though, that when I was pregnant, I was like, I don't give a F. I'm pregnant. I'm sexy. Now I'm like, okay, now I'm not pregnant. What's my excuse?
You're still sexy. Man.
Thanks, baby.
You really are. And that's just not because I'm your husband. Like you.
Okay. All right. We can talk about this, but let's keep it PG. Your mom is probably going to listen to this. Okay.
Sorry.
And that's just weird for me. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely something that I have to like give myself a pep talk for. You got this. You're sexy. You're sexy. It's like, I just imagine like one of those movies where you talk to yourself in the mirror. I don't do this, but talk to yourself in the mirror.
You
like,
lean forward on the vanity. You stare at yourself.
You are sexy.
That's fun. I can totally see you doing that too.
No, ma'am.
No.
So yeah, that is something that I struggle with, but that's also like stupid because once you're in it, it's like, meh.
Yeah.
And Taz does do a really good job of making me feel like I'm beautiful all the time. So it's just the little voices in our heads that make us feel inadequate.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I mean, even then, like from a guy's perspective, now talking about like my experience with the pregnancy and then postpartum, like that sympathetic weight game is real. And not to make it about me, but like, I think there's another aspect of like, being physical, and intimate after giving birth. And then like, guys, you might have gained a little bit of weight as well. You might be dealing with some like, oh, like I'm now heavier than I was before. So I think it's not as extreme. I'm not going to say it's definitely on the same level, but I don't think it's also talked about. Like I definitely gained some weight, during that period.
We get all those throwback pictures and we're like, who the heck are those people?
What the heck? Like in the middle of the night, like if she was needing something to eat, like I would probably eat as well. And so it's like,
yeah,
I would eat with her.
Yeah. Just so sweet.
Yeah. I'm a giver. What can I say? So there's definitely some on my side as well of like, okay, my body's not where I want it to be either. And, I definitely I'm a little bit self-conscious as well. And I think it's definitely played into how much we stay physical. I don't know where I was going with that really. But
it's good to talk about that because I feel like not a lot of men talk about that.
Yeah. Yeah. But again, I don't want to take away from what's going on in the woman's body because it's leaps and bounds.
No, you're not. I don't.
Serious.
No, but that first time back was, that was rough.
Was it scary?
Yes.
So what was going through your mind the first time we did it?
Stop. Ow. I don't want this. Take it away.
And you were very clear about like if it was too much or
no, I could not say anything. It hurt so bad.
Yeah. Or like we had to stop. Like, I mean, you were very clear whether or not like you wanted to stop or not.
This might be TMI, but it literally felt like I got the husband stitch.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. Interesting. I will say.
Do you know what the husband stitch is?
It did feel like you got the husband stitch.
Well, this might be a different kind of podcast.
Well,
if you don't know what the husband stitch, and it's kind of like, I don't, it's not like people look down on it sometimes. Like people get judged. What's the word I'm looking for? People are like, ugh, you expect me to get the husband stitch for my husband? Like I did not get the husband stitch. That's not what we're saying here. You didn't request it. I didn't request it. I don't think my doctor gave it to me, but that's what I'm saying. That's what it would probably feel like. Mm-hmm. But the husband stitch is if you give birth via
vaginal
delivery, they stitch you up a little bit more.
If you tear.
Yeah.
If you tear, they'll go in and they'll fix the tear, but then they'll
do an extra stitch
to make it tighter.
Yeah.
And that's the husband stitch because it'll benefit the husband.
Although I don't know if that's a real thing. I didn't look into it. I don't know. But anyway, that's just me trying to be funny. Don't
If there are any OBs listening, like, is it a real thing? We should ask our OB.
We should ask we should ask her.
You can text her.
Yeah, no. We're done. She's done with me. I'm not going to bother her.
She's like, see, after we gave birth, after she gave birth, I say after we had the baby, she was like, see you in 6 months. I was like, no, you will not. Do not put that on me. But, but yeah, no, it was very painful. Mm-hmm. And I mentioned this in the last podcast, but, I think must have been month 6.5 that it felt semi-normal where I'm like, oh, okay, this is not bad. Yeah.
We're back.
There we go.
We're back, bitches. Mama's back. We gotta put a warning. Question. Our moms cannot listen to this, please.
No, we need to put like a filter.
Yeah.
Like keep them off of it.
Keep the moms away from this podcast.
Yeah.
Any other sex questions before we move on to the next question?
No, I think that was primarily like how you approached sex and intimacy, physical intimacy after, and any advice you would give to other women going through it.
I will say that Taz made it easy because of the way he was with me after I gave birth. If he had not been as intentional, I would have been like, oh no, stay the hell away from me. Like, you expect me to be doing all of this and then no. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think the husband needs to like be a husband.
Yeah, for sure. I agree.
And again, like I said, it's not a give and take relation. It's not like I do this and you do that and you.
But there are times where it is. There are definitely times where it is.
Oh, didn't you want to talk about being the breadwinner or whatever?
Oh yeah.
Okay, let's just move into that subject.
All right. You sent me something on TikTok, or was it Instagram? It was one of those platforms. And it was this video of this guy. Basically, what was it?
I don't even remember. But it was talking about how, I don't know,
how he felt that his wife was like making more money than him, and if it like emasculated him. But it was like this funny video. It was like him running around the house like being super happy, and like how he's like super proud of her, and how it doesn't emasculate him. And I think as men providing, it's like mandated. You know, men are the like provide for the household, but it doesn't just mean financially. I think that's a common misconception. I think you're to provide a spiritual covering. I think you're to lead the household in a lot of decision making. So lead in other ways other than just, hey, here's a paycheck, I'm paying for everything. So with that being said, it doesn't emasculate me that she's the breadwinner, and she is the breadwinner in this relationship.
Right, girl bossed a little too hard.
She did. Now you're stuck with it. You know, hopefully not for forever.
Yeah.
But in the season, she's definitely the breadwinner. Not saying that my job doesn't provide anything, but she does make more money than me, and I love that for her.
That's cute.
I love that for her. It doesn't threaten me at all as a man if she makes more money than me.
Yeah, I think kind of like what we said earlier, like sometimes it will be a give and take. I think sometimes I'll be the breadwinner, sometimes he'll be the breadwinner. I don't think that it's always going to be a balance in terms of finances, who does more around the house. There's going to be ebbs and flows of everything because I have my own business, and sometimes like launch week, I'll be like working super hard and he'll have to cook more or do the cooking and do the dishes. Or if he has to work more for a certain shoot, like I'll have to be home doing mostly everything, and it's never going to be that balance. But I think it's really beautiful when the other person can just pick it up without like
making a fuss about it.
Yes. Like
it's like, oh, guess what? I cook tonight.
Yeah.
So you're cooking tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Like it's not like
no.
If there's a couple weeks where one person's cooking more than the other, or one person's cleaning more than the other, or one person's working more than the other. That's just how life is.
Yeah.
Sometimes for sure.
But yes, I am the breadwinner right now, and he has never been, except he like asks for money a lot. Like
I do. Can I go out and like buy this and that? No, absolutely not really.
No, but I And I'm going to be 1,000% honest. Sometimes it's nice to like not have to, and it's not like I pay for things. Like he still pays for the like dinners and stuff. And like, he's still doing that. It's just the more money is coming in from my side. So it's not like I'm taking him out to dinner and like, it's not like that at all.
No, she's not my sugar mama.
No.
I mean, she's making more money, but it's not like she's paying for, she's not paying for dinners. Like we're both paying for dinners.
I think we just want to talk about how you shouldn't feel emasculated if your woman makes more.
Mm-hmm. I actually had a good conversation with my friend Ahmed yesterday because he just got engaged. And we were talking about finances, and he's like, how do we approach like making our finances one? How do you guys approach it? Because Yami does make more than me right now. And so like, how does that play into paying bills? How does that play into like, is it percentage based? Like, okay, she's making, 50% more. Is she handling a higher percentage of monthly bills? And the answer is yes, currently. So
I am.
Oh boy. So that's how we approach it. Like she's making more money right now. So she's going to put a little bit more towards, the overall expenses for the household. And if the situation changes and I start making more or she's making less, we reevaluate. Like I think every few months we kind of revisit our financial situation and see if, hey, did I get a raise? How's her business doing? What are our expenses? Have we cut down on anything? Are we not paying anything monthly anymore that we can reevaluate? So we just reevaluate everything and kind of make sure we're on the same page. Twice a year.
Twice a year. Yeah.
Yeah. Ideally it's quarterly, but we don't have major changes in our finances every 3 months. So that's kind of how we approach it, and it works out pretty well. And we're always very communicative about any changes as well. Because I think that can be another big tension point in marriages is finance.
Yeah.
I think it's actually the number one cause of divorce is when finances. And if they aren't on the same page and there's questions about like what's happening. And I think we're very clear about, or I try and be clear about if anything changes. Because I do handle a lot of the finances. Like if she tried to pay our electric bill, she would have no idea.
I wouldn't.
No.
And it's fine.
And that's I totally own that.
Because I have too much going on right now that I cannot.
And I'm fine with owning that.
Yeah. So he does it all.
And as we talked about in the previous podcast, I'm much more analytical and logical. So actually working with numbers and making sure everything's working together, it's a strong suit of mine. And having everything in line on top of everything that she has going on, if I were to put that on her, or if we were to split it half and half and be like, okay, you have to take care of these finances, I have to take care of these, and we just got to do it. Like that would not work out very well because something would get dropped, and then we would have our water bill shut off, water shut off,
for sure.
And then
so I pay for my car and my credit card. That's it.
Yeah,
and that sometimes is too much for me.
It's like, babe, did you get a notification that you didn't pay it? So that works for us. Like if in your relationship, like somebody handles everything on one side and they enjoy it, and it works for you guys, like it's not a bad thing. Don't feel like, oh, I have to handle the finances.
Yeah.
Because like I definitely don't think that because I enjoy it.
Yeah.
I enjoy knowing. And if
oh my God, sometimes he'll like wake up. I'm talking about like we just woke up and I'm like, what are you doing on your phone? He's like, paying the water bill. I'm like, you just woke up. Like have your coffee first. I'm like, how do you do that?
No, because I'll get an email first thing in the morning and then I'll just do it right then and there just because like the day gets busy.
Oh, he's so good with that. I'm actually the worst. I'll get an email like, oh, I'll take care of it later. Don't take care of it.
But at least you know.
Finances, check. Sex, check. We want to finish with one last question.
Yes.
Or actually two more. How do you guys work out differences in parenting styles, if any? This will be short because we don't differ a lot, but we do differ on one thing. And we haven't gotten to the point yet. So we keep talking about it. We keep coming up. And we have like little discussions here and there. And I think we're coming to an agreement, but it's just communication. And if you heard the last podcast, we talked about how he was raised versus how I was raised. He was spanked and then they talked to him about it and he understood why he was doing it. But then after that, it was normal. Whereas in my family, we'd get yelled at, we'd get hit. and we'd probably have the silent treatment for a little bit, and then like literally you would not know when, but things would go back to normal without talking about it.
Yeah.
So it's something that I have to work through, I think. If
what specifically work through? Types of discipline? Got it.
Yeah, the discipline. Because I just can't imagine hitting my daughter. And that he's going to say, you're not hitting her, you're spanking her or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think
I can't imagine either. That's not like I
I know. And we talked about, no. And we talked about, like, there was a video that I saw that someone said something like, ooh, if my daughter speaks back to me, I'm going to spank or I'm going to hit the crap out of her. That's like you, like, looking forward to hitting your child when your child's not even born yet.
Yeah, that's not okay.
No, not okay at all.
No.
But then we have friends that do discipline their children by spanking them, and similar to what Taz's family did, it's been fine. And Taz is a good example. He doesn't have trauma. So like my thing is I don't want her to have any trauma.
Yeah.
And I know that there's stuff that's going to happen that I cannot avoid but I want to do my very best to not have her have to deal with trauma.
Yeah. No, that makes total sense. And I think the biggest difference between what happened with you and what happened with me was the intentionality behind it.
Yeah, for sure.
It was, I think, a lot of time when you were disciplined or when you were hit, it was out of anger. And true discipline doesn't come from a place of anger. As a parent, you're angry that your child disobeyed you, but you're not responding in anger.
Right.
You're responding actually in love because you need to teach your child right from wrong.
Yeah.
And so you're not blindly out of rage hitting them. You're telling them, this is exactly why I'm doing this. There are consequences to your actions.
Yeah.
And you have to suffer these consequences. Something my parents say now is that the pain of the discipline needs to outweigh the joy of the disobedience. So
your mom told me that when she was here.
And it's so true. Children are going to test you and they're going to push you and they're going to figure out how much they can get away with. And they're going to get joy out of that. They really are.
I mean, I agree with all of this. It's not like we don't agree on this. It's just, I don't know. We're trying to figure out how to like,
because there's the argument of like, oh, if your child hits you,
you're
going to
teaching
respond by hitting them. But there's a big difference between why they hit you and why you're hitting them. And that's what the child needs to understand. I really think it's making it super clear why you're doing what you're doing.
Because you're not hitting them for hitting you. You're hitting them for disobeying you.
Yeah. And obviously this comes at a point where they can understand exactly what they're doing. Because then, like, obviously Luna's 7 months.
We're not.
If she starts flailing around and she hits you, like, she doesn't know. She doesn't even know how to talk yet.
Right.
So she's not really going to understand like what it means when we say no.
Yeah.
She doesn't get it yet. But when children do, they get to that point of understanding and then deliberately going against what their parents said, then that's the point where you need to get a little bit more serious with your discipline.
All that to say, though, that we're just communicating through it, and we have a little bit of time, to like continue talking and figuring out how I want to go about this. But yeah, it's just me working through
past trauma. Yeah, and how your parents approach discipline.
Yeah,
and learning from that.
Yeah.
Figuring out how you want to do it.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. I think this whole gentle parenting thing is just, it's an excuse not to parent your child.
Whoopsie.
Sometimes.
Okay, let's move on to the next question.
No, I'll stay right here.
Anything else you want to say?
Yeah, I do.
Go ahead.
Gentle parenting is a sham. Maybe not a sham. You can definitely be gentle with your child and still discipline them.
Yeah.
Because I think when parents don't want to discipline their child because they don't want to feel bad about doing it. They don't want to, so they're basically protecting themselves. I don't want to feel bad about disciplining my child and making them cry. So, I'm just not going to do it at all. I'm going to talk to them nicely and I'm going to let them do what they want. And that's just like, you're a parent. You can't let your child do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Do whatever they want.
Right.
And I think I get the concept of gentle parenting. Maybe not even the concept.
I think it's okay to a certain extent.
The idea
I think
behind
that
it.
you need to discipline your children.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to let them run you.
I think that's a big issue with like the most recent generation.
Mm-hmm.
Is that they never got told no.
Mm.
They never had consequences for their actions, so that when somebody does tell them no, they flip out and they can't handle that.
Yeah.
So
I'm sorry. Is she standing?
It's a very complex issue. No, she's kneeling.
Okay. Sorry. I'm just looking at our baby monitor to make sure she's not.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we're still talking through all of that.
Parenting styles.
Yeah.
We have differing parenting styles, even down to like letting Luna experience things for herself. Like I'm very like
hands free.
If she's, I don't know, doing something and she like falls down and she starts to cry, I'm not going to scoop her up right away. I'm going to like be there for her. I'm going to hold her hands. I'm going to look at her. I'm going to talk to her, but I'm going to let her realize like, oh, I'm actually okay. Like I'm not hurt. Like if she face plants and I see her actually like destroy her nose off the ground, like, yeah, I'm going to pick her up because I know that hurt her. But I also want her to understand like a lot of the things that happen to her aren't the biggest deal.
Meanwhile, I'm over here like swooping her up the first time she like starts to, meh.
Yeah.
Taz like, let her go. I'm like, no.
Let her cry a little bit.
No.
Like, a little crying is.
I love her so
okay.
much. And I just want to guard her from everything.
I know.
I'm going to cry. Okay, stop. Okay.
Moving on.
Okay, do you want to finish on this last one?
Yeah.
Big life dreams or goals and hopes as a couple, family, for kids, etc. Do you have anything you want to say?
I think I have a general idea.
What's that?
And mom and dad, if you're listening, this is not a dig at you, but I want to do for Luna what I think our parents couldn't do for us.
Yes.
That's it.
Which I think is normal. I think they did the best that they could.
Yeah.
And I think it's time for us to do the best we could. And we've learned.
Yeah.
So it's
from
not
their
like
mistakes.
It's like not like a dig.
It's almost like the rite of passage. Like we learn from our parents' mistakes so we don't make those mistakes.
Right.
Again. And so whatever it is, like financial literacy or like teaching her certain things or whatever, set her up for success in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Really, I just want to make sure she's put in a position to be successful.
Yeah.
In all aspects of life.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's like the big dream.
Right.
What about you?
Oh my gosh. All the dreams for her.
Mm-hmm.
I have so many. I don't have like dream 1, dream 2, dream 3.
Yeah.
It's more so like I want to get us to a place where we don't worry as much about why am I going to cry?
The craziness of the world.
Not to get like all Debbie Downer and stuff, but all these shootings that have been taking place recently really I don't know.
I don't think you have to say it, really. It's I think it hits a little closer to home when you have a child.
Yeah.
Especially when they're happening at schools, especially when they're happening at like public places.
Malls.
Not just at like people's homes and like people are like whatever. And those are terrible as well. But when they're happening in a place where like you have a baby and she's soon going to be at a school.
Yeah.
It's like I don't want her to I don't want to have to worry about that. I don't want her to have to be in an environment where that could potentially happen. Like it's just it's crazy.
Yeah. And so I'll be
so
honest.
It's terrifying.
Like I'm thinking about like what are we gonna do? Like, do we homeschool her? Do we move to another country? Because I just want to get like this is not life. This is not how we were intended to live. And so I can't imagine what these families have to go through now living without their babies and I don't want to put her in that position.
I agree.
So did not mean to cry.
And that's just part of like the decisions that
we're
facing. And these aren't decisions like the world is changing so fast, and like you didn't really have to think about this type of stuff when we were kids.
Yeah.
I don't think. So the parenting decisions that are being made now are just so different and so new. It's like,
yeah,
they're hard. And at the same time, I don't want to live in fear.
Right.
So there's another aspect of it. Like, we're living in this society right now. Either you can live in fear of it all, or you can prepare yourself as much as possible. And that's another topic. Like, I'm not gonna get into right now.
We're not gonna get into that right now.
I'm strapped.
Okay, moving on.
Because I want to protect my family. Really, that's it. And that's a choice that I think we need to make. Is like, okay, you can either live in fear of it or choose to like protect yourself at all costs until a decision can be made to move to Spain or someplace like a northern Canada where we just have like 100 acres and don't have to see anybody.
Maybe not Canada.
That's too cold.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Decisions. But other than that, I just want to, like Taz said, provide the very best for her, and not even financially. Like, I just want us to be happy, not worry about finances, not worry about friggin', the world. Yeah. Like, something about me, when somebody would ask me, like, what do you wish for? Like, for my birthday, whatever, it's just one simple thing. I've never had, like, you want to say it's so bad, don't you?
I know exactly what you're going to say.
I've never had, like, I have X goal or whatever. It's always just
to be happy.
To be happy. And whether that is living in Houston or living on a farm, it's just to be happy. And now with Luna, it's just to be happy with her and not provide happiness for her, but provide an atmosphere and an environment where she could have the joy and the happiness and live and grow peacefully.
Yeah. No, it's very good.
Thanks.
Love that.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Okay, so can I just point out that our girl has been in her crib by herself for 39 minutes.
Alone, just like
she woke up crying.
She woke up 39 minutes ago.
Yeah. So we are going to be good
so
parents now. She's had her independent playtime.
Yep.
And now
She's
we're going to go.
literally folding over into her. She does this thing where she sits and she just folds forward and like faces on the
I love her
mattress,
so much.
and it's just funny. But yes, we got to go get her and feed her. And
this was so fun, though.
What time is it? It's 3:15.
We have a call in 45 minutes. This was so fun. Will you be back on?
Let's let the people decide. No, I'll be back.
Bad answer. You should have said
irregardless.
Only if you have me.
Only if you have me.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, thank you so much. If you guys have any additional questions, or if you want more, maybe we'll have like a not a series, but like when you come and you like do a takeover with me.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll make this more like a monthly thing, like one episode a month or something. Let me
talk about like current happenings and like topics,
like updates and
yeah,
that'd be fun.
That'd be great. I like that.
Thank you so much for joining me. If you guys have any questions, of course, leave them down below. Thank you so much for joining us, and I will see you next week.
Later.
Bye.